Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to the Easter Monday edition of Winning Ways. And we hope you've had a wonderful Easter weekend. I hope you've got lots of Easter eggs. And I know that my partner in crime here, Kev, nice to have you on the show. You got the Easter eggs yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic. If we're talking about the football, that's what everybody's talking about. A game of football that we haven't seen Man United play for, I think, since Ferguson left, and set a cat amongst the pigeons now, because all of a sudden now Spurs from a 10-point lead now only got Spurs 4 points behind them. The game is on you now, and United have got 2 games in hand. They got a chance of going virtually level with Liverpool. I don't know about the goal difference, which puts us in third, so it puts us into Champions League status. So yeah, fantastic. Mourinho, there was a lot of criticism, but I think when he put out the sheet to see who's playing. No, Abramovich. He put Rashford in. I mean, world class. If Rashford doesn't make the England squad, I'll be very surprised. I mean, we saw the England manager in the stands yesterday. He's waiting for him. He was world class. Herrera, world class. I thought Fellaini, not too many said too much about Fellaini. I thought he was world class in the midfield. David De Gea had the afternoon off. Not one shot on target.
Yeah, well, I think that he's the key to your side. I think De Gea is probably the best goalkeeper in the Premier League.
He's the best one in the world, actually, at the moment.
Probably the best, one of the best in the world. Well, there's Neuer, there are a couple of good ones, don't worry.
Some good ones, but I think Real Madrid are looking to latch on to our boy, but... Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
So
weekend.
You're all cock-a-hoop.
Oh, we all, the biggest supporting club in the world, as you know, Man United. And the guys, I've never seen so many red shirts in my life. Yeah. All the guys have got their shirts out now, washed them, put them back on again.
Well, good Easter Monday. Nice red Easter Monday for you boys.
Very, very nice. So that was the football. I thought Spurs played well on Saturday as well. There was good football, but... it's not one-way traffic anymore now.
Well, the trouble is that Chelsea do have a very relatively easy run in. You know, they got teams like Southampton and that. You know, Terry Payne. This Terry was playing for them. They'd have no chance.
We'll have to see what Terry tips when they play Chelsea on Super Bets on a Saturday morning. But listen, they need 15 points to win the league, and I think there's 8 games.
Yeah.
So they've got 24 points that are up for grabs, or 21 points. They need 15 to seal it. But if United keep winning and Spurs keep going like they are, I mean, Harry Kane, world class again. They're really playing good football now, and I think they can see there's something at the end of the tunnel now. So they've got something to play for now. You don't go in the field lackadaisically now. You're going in there, it's hell for leather.
Well, you know, I'm a closet Lions and Bulls supporter because obviously I live in KwaZulu-Natal. I've got to support the Sharks. They weren't playing. I loved the game on Saturday. Province, the Mountain Goats getting a proper one from the Lions. That just shows how good, you know.
The Lions definitely the best the side we've got in South Africa. There's no doubt about it. To beat Province at home against that big crowd of theirs. I mean, Province get the biggest crowd out of all the supporters, even in Australia. There's no doubt about it. Newlands get the best crowd out of all of them, and they're battling for a sponsor here as well with a crowd support like that. But anyway, they got a proper hiding. Lions are world class, very physical.
I love that. You know, they got that Springbok lock pairing, the Stormers. They thought they'd run all rampant.
Lions pushed them over.
The Lions were superb, absolutely superb, and the way that the game plan, you know, were just fantastic.
Yeah, no, listen, you can see that coach knows what he's doing, and he's. Gives us a chance, gives us something to watch. You know, when they start playing the Crusaders and that now, it's going to be good rugby.
Well, there's Stormers, the Mountain Goats have got to go to New Zealand. That's not going to be easy.
No, that's not the easiest thing.
We got the Lions have got an easy run, and so the Sharks. And as I predicted at the beginning of the show, beginning of the year, Sharks and Lions will be top of the log.
Looks like it at the moment, because the Bulls, I think...
the Bulls are useless.
Yeah, when you get beat by the Sunwolves, you must know all of a sudden...
I think Pollard is the key with the Bulls, but it's not a one-man show, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, no. Definitely not.
We've had a great week's racing as well, so let's go and find you 3 to follow. Well, before we get to the 3 to follow, let's just tell you what's in your call. When I was in Dubai, I did an interview with Gareth Pepper, who's based in Singapore, as you know, and doing a bit of work in Hong Kong. And it was fascinating catching up with Gareth Pepper. He was a great character here and a young man on a mission. Him and Justin Vermaak from Green Street Bloodstock doing a lot of work together. And a fascinating interview. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'm sorry about the quality, but the cameraman Zane wasn't there, so it was never going to ever be as good as what it would normally be. But anyway, we tried our best, and that should be fun. But let's go into the three to follow. We go to the first one. We go to the Vaal on Thursday. Mike de Kock stepped out, a very nice son of Lonhro. And unfortunately, he ran into a buzzsaw, which was Sean Terry's Wonder Ball, which we'd picked up first time out, Wonder Wall, and it got beaten in a feature next time. But this is a very interesting race. Kev, let's go through it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're drawn 6, Nafur for the Mark de Kock in the great Sheikh Hamdan colours. Comes out on terms virtually. Callan Murray, I think he's doing a good job. And the eventual winner is on his outside with the Chris Fanica silks, but you can see Callum gets him into the race. It was a very wet day that day, James. You can see the kickback coming up afterwards, and you find horses with good actions can sometimes battle in going like this. But Callum, you can see he's not panicking at all, and the eventual winner on his outside, just tracking him at Simango Kamala. You know, he's an old hat at the game, but a lovely horse, a lovely action, and you know, when Mark and Matthew de Kock say they're going to step out a nice one, you know he's a nice horse. So a good one to follow, but you can just see him over there. He's just
watch what happens here. This is what's interesting, because he's got a neck in front, but Wonder Wall goes to go past him and then really runs back onto him. Now, for a first timer, that's quite tough, and he ends up getting caught in a sandwich, and as a result, he then has to now get him back into stride.
Yeah, that definitely takes the wind out of his sails, but Wonder Wall's off and gone. But Callum Murray, you know, he got the bump and that, but gets going. He doesn't hurt it. Callum gives it a couple of smacks, running on nicely. A nice horse to follow, and I also think a little bit further. You know, the Mark de Kock horses, they're not the best. No, when I say not the best, when they're in their sprint races, they're normally preparing for something bigger and better. So down the straight, even when I say down the straight, the 14 or a mile at the Vaal or around the turn at Turf at Daniel, they'll line it up and be a hard horse to beat next time.
By Lonhro, you know, he's got to get the trip. There's no doubt about it.
He's bred to go the distance. Mark, the Giddies and the Derbies, that's his game. So lovely horse, but Sheikh Hamdan again putting his money in. I'd hate to know what they paid for it, but it must have been big money.
Well, he's top class and certainly looks like he's well worth following. The next one we're going to go and have a look at is first race at Scottsville on Sunday. Now, the big boys are all in town, and as a result, you've got Vaughan Marshall, Kotson, all the boys have got juveniles running, and they're not bringing them to KwaZulu-Natal for fun. But Charles Laird always finds one that can run. This one had 2 false starts, jumped through the pens a couple of times, the pens opened and it got away, and it was rumoured to be a flying machine. When we watched the race, we thought, well, you've got to put this one in as one to follow next time. At first value, it doesn't look like the right horse. The second horse looks like the right horse. But take a close look at Vargreaves.
Yeah, drawn in the middle, 8, Anton Marcus up, the Easter colours. Typical Charlie Laird horse. They come out the gates nice and sharp, and Anton a couple of smacks down the shoulder, gets it straight into the race, and they're going a good clip, James. There's horses on the outside, which we know on the day the going was dead. They're really flying, and Anton doesn't lose his position. Yeah, the horse just seems for a VAR can't go with him. It's quite strange, and especially Charlie's horses. They really he gets him sharp, but it just falls out the race, and is following a group of them on the outside over here now. For a first timer now, Anton goes for the stick. He just gives it 1 or 2 little smacks, but he gives it a clear run now, and it's looking to come through. But horses are all over the show. Not easy for first timers to try and go through small little gaps like that, but as you mentioned earlier, if you look now, it never looks like it's going to run a place. And Anthony Del Pesh on the inside is gone. The race is over, but runs on nicely now and runs third. And I think, James, for a VAR, I'd like to see him a little bit more sharper, but you'll find he might have had the 2 false starts. It just took the edge off him a little bit, you know. And It can do that because they say when the horses come out the gates, they've got that adrenaline pump. Yeah. They say the first
red blood cells in the spleen. They load the spleen and then they empty the spleen, and suddenly they've got no energy in the race.
First 5 seconds, they say, is for free in a race. Millard used to say that's why you can place a horse, and you go and do that twice.
Yeah.
That may be the reason why it just lacked the pace, because it must have shown a lot more at home for them to walk in confidently.
Well, the winner we picked as one to follow. So,
100%. Vanity Fair from Dennis Dry.
You had to back that.
Yeah.
But this one we think that you should keep a good eye on the next time. We move on to race 2, and another daughter of VAR, Dennis Dry's filly got in. It was a maiden plate. Open company, 3-year-olds and older, and this filly got in by way of scratchings, and she looks like a very, very nice filly. The last one, funny enough, Vargreaves, was bred by Backworth Stud, who had a dispersal sale, very successful dispersal sale during the week, and sorry to see them out of the game, but they were great supporters, and they bred Vargreaves. So this one is bred by Normandy Stud and owned by the Folkeses with Mahesh Shetty. Let's go and have a look at a forehand drawn on the wrong side of the course. This certainly didn't suit it.
Yeah, James, as you say, wrong side of the course. Scottsville's gone back to that little bit of a bias, but yeah, Anti Del Pesce drifted like a barge in the betting, 28 to 10 to 7 to 1, so they must have known something according to the betting. But Anthony's on his case as well from the beginning, just keeping it in the race. Got the big white face. The eventual winner, I think, is up on the inside of Gavin van Zales, but
3 off the inside.
Yeah, they're going a hell of a clip again, James. I thought they really were going quick yesterday at Scottsville for a sticky track. It's not good, but Anthony, he doesn't play around. Anthony gets him into the race here now, and it looks like it's coming through now, just about to win now. The big white face, also on the outside, runs up alongside. It's labouring a little bit here now, and what I look at in the last 50 metres, it looks like it just run out a little bit of a steam there. Just got a little bit tired there and just fell in the hole. One pace at the death, Anthony's. They're getting pushed in a little bit, but for me, with that run under the belt, you'll find next time the Dennis Dry horses, they always come on. And this will be a great one to follow next time, but it's not going to have it easy because, as you said, the big boys are in town, and there's some first-timers, as you saw in the same race there. Not the same race, the next race, there was also Terry's that traded big support, beautiful action also, and
Captain in charge.
So you find they might actually bump together next time, so you never know.
Yeah, well, that's the point, is that there's horses we found, sometimes we battle to find horses to follow. This week we could have found 5 horses to follow, or 6. They were all over the country, there were horses that you could have followed. But let me tell you, those 3 look like they'll all go in next time. I would be confidently with them. They go in your black book, and I know there are a lot of you out there that keep these black books. This was the second horse was interesting because it was a filly called Kate Sador. And the first race,
the Toreador,
the Toreador, that ran a very good race too, you see. So there are a number of horses that you've got to think about. We're going to take a break because we've got a race coming up, and then we'll be back with Blast from the Past.
All set, gates crash open, and they are racing away with Judicial and Kulua Castle slow off the mark. A whole wave from outside draws going forward. Stonehenge is the one in front in the early stages and clears away by a length and a half. Deputy Judd is in second. Then comes Captain America, who's third. French Navy now slots in one off the rail in the blue and red colours, and Brazuca is a further length away. Legal Eagle slips past him, and he's now racing in 5th position and trying to get even closer. Inara's midfield. Mac Delago's a bit of a fighter in the silver and blue hoops, with Africa Burn a further length back. Trading Profit is giving Giving the leaders about 10 lengths start, Judicial. Then came Half the Deficit, and Kulua Castle is out at the back of the field. They've taken the corner turn. They have just over 1,200 metres left to go, and Stonehenge is setting up an honest gallop. He's 1.5 lengths in front. Captain America has been given the run of the race in second. Third position is Deputy Judd in the orange sleeves and cap. Legal Eagles in fourth. He's just 3 lengths off the leader. French Navy's a further length behind him, and Brazuca is 1 off the rail. Inara and Macdelago, they travel together, and they're around 7 lengths off the leader. A further 2 lengths away then we found Trading Profit, joined by Africa Burn in the black and red colours. After these ones is Half the Deficit, then comes Kulua Castle, and finally Judicial. They off the false rail, just over 600 metres left to go. Stonehenge feels pressure from Captain America, and Legal Eagle has worked up into third. Brazuca is getting a move on. Then comes Deputy Judd, Inara and Macdelago with French Navy further back. 400 metres left to go. It's Legal Eagle who's taken the lead, but there's pressure from Brazuca. Captain America's on the retreat. Macdelago, French Navy are next. There's 200 metres left to go. Legal Eagle, Brazuca's nagging away. 3 lengths away to French Navy, but Legal Eagle's given a kick. He's 1.5 lengths in front of Brazuca and French Navy. Legal Eagle, no debate. He's won again. Legal Eagle, top class. Second goes to French Navy. Then came Brazuca, Macdelago.
Well, never mind about Legal Eagle being top class. Top class to see Alistair Cohen back in the studio. He was there on Saturday doing understarters orders, and it was fabulous having him back in the chair. You know.
Yeah, Ali's our boy. Everybody's just so grateful to see him back, and hopefully his tests come back and he's in remission like Laff and many other people. You know, this day and age now. Cancer used to be a swear word.
Yeah.
Now it's a very common thing in our society at the moment, with cell phones and the food we eat and the pesticides they put on the food and that. But yeah, it's good to see him back. But Legal Eagle again. You know, James, what I like about this horse, I mean, you run him in a mile, Anton takes him to the front. They run him in at 2,000 metres, he just slides him in behind and he goes through. He just rides this horse with so much confidence, and he's a Turffontein specialist. No wonder he's not in the July. I think Sean's got that 5 million race coming up in his mercy. And I mean, the Queen's Plate and the Met surely have got to be in his mercy as well. He loves it down there. And he just picks his 4 or 5 races for this horse for the year, and he destroys them. I mean, we're going to go through the July field later. I think it's not the best we've seen, but yeah, he's a special horse, and you just watch him. He's a magnificent. He wants to win, and he just does it with so much of ease.
Yeah, and he beat quite a good field. Captain America ran 6th. You know, there was some Macdelago, Brazuca.
Those are all our July horses this year.
Those are horses. You know, yeah. Certainly they're July horses. But that was that, and we're going to go and have a look at the Plum of the Week. This is quite an interesting one.
Light 10-gun salute. At the 400-metre marker, London Call now moves up to take on Guinness. Sergeant Hardy feels the squeeze towards the inside. Search Party looks to run on. Towards the outside, Saratoga Dancer Iska. London Call's about a pop his head in front with 150 to go. London Call goes for all he's worth. He's in command by 1.5 lengths. Sergeant Hardy, the rest of them chasing shadows. London Call all the way. Sergeant Hardy second. Guinness is in a photo with many horses lunging through late.
Well, London Call, backed it on Interbet. You could have got 9-2, 5-1. He ended up shortening. They ended up starting at 5-2 on Interbet. You could have got as much as you like. Why we've highlighted this is that, you know, they malign the KwaZulu-Natal trainers. And you look at the job Mark Dixon's done with this horse. He had a double on the day with another horse at 7 years old that he just kept going, put it in the right place. These guys are as good as anyone, but they're buying bottom of the market instead of top of the market. Yeah,
I can't agree with you more, James. Mark Dixon knows how to get horses right. And like you say, they're buying bottom of the market, and This was a tough race. If you told me now he has 100 rand, go and put it on London Call, you would have to step back and have a look again. Okay, there were a lot of horses having their preps for the season, Saratoga, Dancer, 10-gun salute, etc. and so forth. But sprinters, they were all there. Guinness, Barbosa, 7th Plane, Sergeant Hardy, they were all lined up there. Yeah. Hard to go back London Call, but if you look at his record, especially at Maritzburg, he's a genuine horse, and well done to Mark. He's keep this horse. He's got to get him back home. It was probably this morning he fall on his nose out the box because he's got the worst legs in town, and you've got to nurse.
12 runs, 7 wins.
Yeah,
there's now 12 runs, 8 wins. 13 runs, 8
unbelievable.
wins. You know, that is a training feat. Now, you can say what you like. The horse obviously got problems. That's why I pulled this horse out. I thought, you know, let's highlight something that really is good about this whole setup.
Yeah, the whole trainers. I'm sure they're going to line him up for the big sprint.
Yeah, the problem is that where he ends up in the handicap. You know, his owners are great supporters of the game.
Yes, absolutely.
And there was no more deserving horse that you wanted to make the plum of the week, that you want to really have a bet on and see it win. You know, you really get excited when you see a horse like this.
Absolutely, yeah. Well done to Mark. He really deserves it. Merit rating 108. He's got to go up a little bit for that. I see Sergeant
probably
Hardy's
go to 110, 111 maybe. You know,
because
he did win with authority. But I tell you, as usual, the Golden Horse Sprint is going to be an amazing race, because it was fantastic to see 7th Plane, Guinness both run 3rd and 4th. You know, they're both Group 1 winners.
And Saratoga Dancer.
Saratoga Dancer. Well, we'll talk about him in the July weights, because he ran a cracking good race.
Absolutely.
You know him, because I saw you have a little look-see here at Greyville the one day, and then they came out and won pretty easily the next time. Yeah, and they kept you on him. I would have kicked you off the horse straight away.
They nearly kicked me off because I ran a place.
Okay, let's go and have a look and see what we've got in current affairs.
Hi, my name is Gregory Blank. I'm an ex-stockbroker and involved in private equity and stock markets. But my passion for the last 40 years has been horse racing. I initially started off as an owner. We then got into breeding and then into trading. And obviously by default became a punter. The most exciting part, apart from being as a winner, is having a winning bet at the same time. Obviously that's not always easy, but with the help of Interbet and their transparent information, it makes trading and betting a lot easier. I've had over 38 Group 1 winners and continue to try to strive for that thrill of having a winner. The thrill of owning a horse and winning a race is indescribable. But if they're serious about it and serious about punting, is to get a leg in and really follow Interbet to the max. It's the only way they can be ahead of the game.
Right, well, we've had a big week last week, and nothing bigger in KwaZulu-Natal country than first entries for the Vodacom Durban July. 58 of them came out, and the top trainers, Terry 16, Snaith 9, and the rest following suit. But 58 entries. Legal Eagle, Whiskey Baron were the 2 that you would have seen weren't in the entries. But we're going to have a quick look through the entries and have a chat about them. Kev, see what you think.
Yeah, James, I must be honest, when you actually think what's around, what you see is what we've got. And it's not the strongest July entries I've ever seen. I think, I don't like to say that July's lost its gloss, but those horses that we used to have, that used to be in South Africa and used to have to race in South Africa, this was the premier race they were lining up for. Today now, you know, some of them go overseas. And
well, a lot of them do. You know, when you think that the top 10 to 15 horses go overseas every year.
Gone. So that takes that right off the top. Yeah. And then you get like Legal Eagle. Sean Terry's got other... Well,
he'll go for the Gold Challenge if he goes for something here, I would have thought, you know.
I don't even think he's going to bring him to Durban. I'll be surprised. Yeah. I think he's going to... There's just too much money in Joburg for him. There's a big race in Joburg. I think it's about a 5 million race. I can't remember. We were discussing it on Friday night. Premier something.
Yeah, the Champions Cup.
Something. I mean, that's in his mercy. I mean, he loves the course and distance. The big guys are going to be coming down here. The horse that's just jumped out of me now is Heavenly Blue from the Mark de Kock yard.
Yeah.
He's favourite for the Derby. He's a 3-year-old. He's been very impressive. He's a rating of 106. If he doesn't get the right weight, you know, Mark, he's ruthless. He just pulls him out. I mean, Horse Chestnut, they gave him 56. He pulled it out. Abashiri, the late owner of Abashiri, ran his horse with the 3-year-old at 59, was it?
Yeah.
It was a joke. But this is my little sneaker for the race at the moment now. Heavenly Blue. If he can handle the Durban track, because he's a Turffontein specialist, he likes it big, long, straight, lovely action horse. If he can do something over here, I think this could be a nice little lurker, because he's got to be a big price.
Well, what is interesting is that Sporting Post published what they thought the weights might be for the race. And at the top of the weights, they had Captain America with 60 kilos,
That's
obviously.
correct.
Marinaresco, 59.5. French Navy, 58.5.
That's not a
and
bad.
Heavenly Blue would have 53. Now, the horse that interested me at 53 was Silver Mountain.
Absolutely.
Because here's a filly that I believe has just been below her best, and with 53 kilos, this filly could be good enough to beat them all.
Yeah.
There are a number of others, obviously. Bella Bella's got 56.5. These are all their ratings on what they think
should be right.
should be the
Bella
July.
Bella had 52.5, I think, last year, or 53.5, or 54.5.
Yeah. Yeah, she was
And she ran below
54.5
par.
maybe.
But I think she's a year older now, and she does look a much
The other filly is Orchard Island. You know, she got 52 on her back.
Another
you
one,
know.
yeah.
That would interest me, because I think that the 2-2 will suit her down to the ground.
Absolutely. So yeah, so there's going to be it's going to be interesting with when the weights do come out and things start happening now. But we've got a couple of months to go. It's going to and nice to see who the guys are backing and what they're backing. And I thoroughly enjoy that month or 3 weeks before the July when the hype really starts.
Yeah, there are a lot of horses in here that I don't think have any chance of getting in. You know, there are a number of horses you just say to yourself, well, you know, why are you nominating them? But
well, I think, yeah, the reason why they nominate them is just in case the horse comes and wins 2 races and you think now all of a sudden, oh gosh, we should have put this horse in the July. Supplementary entries, 55 grand. The owner says, oh, hang on a sec.
If the horse is going to be good enough to get in the July, supplement it, you know, and it
pay
shows that he will have won the money, because he will have won something decent.
I know a lot of supplementaries around the world that have come in and won.
Yeah,
I mean, you
absolutely.
see them in England, John Gosden and those guys supplement horses big money for derbies and they pull it off.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, that's the big news as far as Vodacom Durban July is concerned. And as good a field as you could probably get. It looks like it's going to be a great race this year, and we're going to have some fun there. Just talking about NHA, let's just talk about them quickly, because they've got rid of the defaulters rule, 9744. Now, that was a rule that said if an owner didn't pay a trainer, they would take action, okay? That's gone, and I think it's amazing that people that control racing can take a rule out like that. How do you guys see it?
I think it's the most important rule in the game, and they pulled it out. I mean, I'm shocked. When you told me that, I was absolutely shocked. They should be looking after the trainers and trying to keep the game transparent.
The point is that you're licensed by them, okay? And you make a living out of people who are granted colours by them. So the whole synergy seems to be that there should be some type of regulatory authority that can control the game, because when you think of the worst case scenario is a chap who has 100 horses in training, doesn't pay his trainer for 3 months.
Gee,
okay?
the trainer will close
Suddenly
down.
takes the horses away because he's entitled to. There's no recourse. The trainer's now got to go to the courts, okay, which is very difficult
and expensive
to do, and expensive to do. And he's probably out of pocket for 600 or 700 or $1 million or $1.5 million, whatever
That's his
it
business
might be.
closed virtually.
You've got to, if you're a regulator, you've got to regulate the game, I would have thought. Anyway, the other big news is, I read this on ABC, Bob Brogan and the boys put it up, was Jockey's Breeches advertising. Now, you know, as a jockey, did you always have advertising on your breeches?
Yeah, I had sponsors. It was your name on the one side and the sponsor on the other side, which which is normally normal. It's good for Aventura, Anthony Del Pech, the Volkerbosdraft, all of them, Mary Slack and Jessica and all of them. Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know too much into it, but I know Tex Lorena's on the case. I've been listening to the comments, what's happening about it. He'll be on the case, and they're not going to have it easy. I don't know who's making all these new rules and changing all these new rules, but well, we do know who it is. But
well, listen, it's hot news and well worth having a read on ABC. Let's go and take a break. We're going to be back with the rest of current affairs, and then we'll be chatting to Gareth Pepper. Right, well, back with you guys, and a couple of interesting things. Henneman last week was, you know, the Henneman disaster was something that I escaped because I was on the plane, and I was sitting at the yearling cells and decided to stay at the yearling cells and not go, and my horses were saddled by Ginger Masterton or David Bullock saddled my horses there, you know. So it's really one of those things that every year when it comes up, have a thought and a prayer for a lot of my mates were on that plane, and I don't know if you knew a lot of those boys.
Yeah,
you know?
all the guys.
It was very, very sad. It was a terrible disaster.
It was a big chip out the racing block, as they would say. Yeah. We lost jockeys, we lost trainers, we lost stewards, staffs, we lost everybody, and the pilots and their families as well. But yeah, it was a very tragic scene, and nobody really knows what happened to that plane. It caught on fire or something like that.
Yeah, it just, you know, obviously there's always rumours, but the whole terrible thing was that they had this monument erected at Newmarket, was beautiful. And,
and I think
Clyde's father still, you know, make sure that this is remembered every year. And 29 years, you know, it seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that was Clyde's brother. Keith was on the plane. Yeah, a good friend of mine, and Clyde's dad as well. A great man, a solid man for the game.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad that they still remember the Henneman boys, and next year will be 30 years. Kentucky Derby coming up, big races. Kentucky Derby, 6th of May. The usual suspects, and they've got the Arkansas Derby and all these lead-up races running now. It looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, listen, like I said earlier on, who's the big names that they're lining up, because these American pharaohs and arrogants and all that, this is where they come from. They win the Derby, and then the world is their oyster.
Well, they're looking at the Triple Crown then, aren't they?
Triple Crown is the number one, and then if they don't make the Triple Crown, Sheikh Mohammed's, I think he's going to $15 million, the World Cup. It looks like a certainty. There's nothing wrong with that.
Why they've done that is that the Pegasus has gone to 15 million. So
Sheikh Mohammed's not letting that.
He's not going to let that go. Just talking about the Sheikhs, Mike's entered Mubtahish for the QE2. And, you know, anyone that wants to go on that trip to the QE2, get hold of Phil Giorgio, let's go travel. He's putting together a trip, and I would love to be going, but unfortunately, you know, it's a big week for us with yearling sales and all types.
Yeah, Phil spoke to me about it. I was umming and ahhing about going. It's a very good deal, and it's around the corner, guys. Just remember, it's 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, 2 weeks' time.
Because the horses leave from Dubai on Friday. I think this Friday coming up. I spoke to Trevor Brown yesterday, and he's going over, and they're taking a companion with him as well. Just trying to think what it was. I couldn't. One of those, he's taking a companion, he's taking two, and most probably the other one will run in the mile. So, and heard that there's going to be a South African jockey going to ride it, so let's wait and see for who it is.
Christoph's not going to ride?
No.
Oh.
Christophe, I think, has got
very interesting.
Got engagements in France.
Well, I would think Anthony Del Pech would probably.
9 noms, James, and the bombs are there.
Yeah, the whole.
The bombs are there. Pakistani Star, what's his name?
Pakistan Star, the Japanese, they're all there.
There's only 9 noms, only 9 runners, but they're lined up. Don't worry. It's 20 million Hong Kong dollars, which is 40 million rand.
Yeah. Just talking about sales, obviously CTS big sale on Friday. The premier sale in Johannesburg at Empress Palace, and Keeneland have got a bonus scheme that they brought up, which I think is absolutely amazing. I was reading about it.
Sales, Keeneland Sales.
Keeneland Sales, okay. And they've got their big sale coming up, 200 horses, and they've put up $750,000 as a bonus. Now, how they've done this is that they haven't, like sales companies do, they charge you on your signing block where you sign, and the entries you pay a fee to get into these big races and big prizes and whatever. But Keeneland have put up $750,000, 60% to the seller and 40% to the buyer. Group 1 winners, Group 2 winners, Group 3 winners next year. That's 2018. Okay, so if you win, you get 60 or 40 of whatever the bonus is. What they do is at the end of the season, they work out how many of those horses won, and obviously Group 1s get more than Group 2s and Group 3s. Then they put it the following year, $1.5 million bonus for those horses.
Get the buyers back again.
So, you know, the point is that you buy horses at their sale, you go to the next year, 2 years, and you can win a very big bonus for not putting in any money. There's no entry fee or anything. It is a sales incentive. Although it was a great incentive and certainly, you know, well worth thinking about. I really enjoyed that. Jean-Claude Rouget, top trainer in France. He had equine herpes outbreak at his stables, 57 colts in the stables. He lost 2 of them, and they got very sick. And that is, I think, shocking news. You know,
it's devastating to any business. It's like the fire we had. Yeah, you come to a standstill.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to close shop, and I think the whole quarantine. Well, they would have quarantined that yard completely.
They quarantined for 15 days, and then they give them 15 days where they've got to be temperature-free, virus-free. They test all the horses. But he had 57 colts. You can imagine some of the nice horses he had in that barn. Look, he trains over 200 horses, so it wouldn't have closed him down, and he said that the other horses were fine. But what is shocking is how quickly this thing can spread.
Straight through 50, yeah.
You know, so he's got a barn, and suddenly that barn is out of action.
The whole barn,
you lose 2 of them die, so that's not much fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the story. Anything else you'd like to chat about?
No, James, just like you said earlier on, I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's been a long weekend.
Oh, you've been so excited about that. I've never seen you so chirpy in my life. And I've seen all my Manchester United mates, okay, and I haven't got many of them, but geez, they send messages. We
got City coming up soon, the derby, and they've got Phil George here.
Yeah.
He's a City supporter, and we always have our wager. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, fantastic. It's been a great start to, I think, our champion season. I would say it's a start. You can see the guys have
they got some lovely horses here.
They've got nice horses in, and they've put them in, and they're running them here and running them there. Don't worry about some of them. The horse let you down. They've also travelled, and the Justin Snaith said, I mean, he'd been here a weekend. He'd put horses in and nominate them and run them on the poly track, and that just to get them going, get the blood going through the system. And yeah, so the cold weather came this weekend too, so the blankets would have been out and the red lights would have been on and the jackets would have been on. You know, at Summerfeld, that place can get really cold
this week. Yeah,
I spoke to Alistair Wybra. He's up in the Berg. He says he went to get the newspaper on Saturday morning. He says it was 4
He's on holiday again. He's always on holiday, that guy. I think he's permanently, isn't he? He's on
holiday. Yeah, it's 4 degrees, he says, to go get the newspaper. I said, oh, that's... So we know the cold weather's, but yeah, we are. The show's on the road now, champion season. Looking forward to it, James. It's lots to talk about, all these big races, the preps, the big sprints at Scottsville, Greyville at its best. I watched the turf track racing the other day, absolutely beautiful.
Kev, thanks so much for joining us. And on this Easter Monday, I hope you enjoy the show. We're going to be chatting to Gareth Pepper, as we've said. Should be fun. Have a great week's racing. Gareth, Singapore. What a place to end up.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Just a lucky break in life, and it's nearly 3 years. It's going on 3 years, and it's a move I'll never regret. I'm so happy.
Life is all about crossroads. You come to a crossroad. You were in South Africa. You were doing a great job there. You looked like one of the kids on the block that were going to places. What happened to get you the Singapore job?
Funny enough, listen, you know, as a presenter, you fall out of favour, and let's be honest, it happens. Presenters are hot and cold, and you know, sometimes they're in favour, and I went through a stage where I wasn't in favour, but it's part of the game. It's part of what we do. And I was getting Kimberley and PE. I was living in Cape Town. They had the presenters there. No worries. You know, Stan and Grant and Vicky, who do a great job, and Joburg was full up as well. So I basically got PE and Kimberley, which, let's not knock them, they're good places, but it's because they spotted me doing Port Elizabeth on a Friday that they knew who I was. So that's how it worked out.
And what did they actually offer you to get you there to Singapore? Because, you know, it doesn't just happen. They had to come to you and say to you, we like you.
Yeah, they got hold of me, flew me over, paid for everything, stayed in the hotel, flew me there, had an interview with them. I sent them tapes, I sent them show reels. They made me an offer, and within 2 months I was there.
Okay, so you get to Singapore. What happens then?
Well, it's a bit of it's a culture shock, firstly. They give you a hotel for 3 weeks, but then after that you've got to fend for yourself. They're very good. They take you to set up your bank account, they show you around and help you, but where you live, what you do, completely up to you. Now, it was a big learning experience for me. I probably rented an apartment that was a little bit out of my price range, but the thing about Singapore is it's all condos, it's all apartments, it's not houses and what we used to back home. So I wanted a big apartment, you know, my family come and visit me, or were going to, and did visit me often. But it was just a complete culture shock in the way, you know, racing runs there and works there, and it's all in one shop, you know. It's all, I didn't have to fly to Kimberley on Monday at 4 a.m. and PE at 6 a.m. on a Friday. I worked there, my office was there, it was all in one spot.
You ended up with some South Africans there. It must have been helpful. Debbie Hawkins, for one, she's what was the media manager there, or she was in charge of certainly quite a few things there.
Yeah, lovely bunch of South Africans there. Mike Wanklin. Yeah. Well, he's a Zimbo, but he's pretty much South African.
Well, Zimbos are not South Africans, but they do talk when we. Okay. So does Mike tell you when we were in Zimbo, we used to do this?
A little bit. Not too bad, but Mike was amazing to me.
He's a handicapper, isn't he? So yeah. For people that don't know, you know.
He's the international handicapper for Singapore, world-renowned handicapper, brilliant in his job, very, very good at his job. But I'd say the person who helped me the most was actually an Aussie. The Aussies don't really like us South Africans, well, me in particular. Matt Jones, who you still hear on the Singapore airwaves, he took me under his wing and he showed me the ropes and got me going.
And what did that entail, getting you going? We heard you for a number of years presenting Singapore racing, but it must be hard to start with a whole lot of new horses, new trainers, new owners, new jockeys.
I'm a pretty sociable person, as I'm sure you know. So I made it my mission to go and introduce myself to every trainer, every jockey. What's nice about Singapore is every horse has its own individual number club. It's like a number, and that's its number for life. All track work's filmed, so 3 mornings a week I was at the track filming track work and watching horses working and figuring out who's doing what. Patrick and Wendy Shaw were amazing to me. Pat's, as you know, one of the most generous and warm and welcoming people. And
probably one of the great ambassadors to South African racing is Pat Shaw. He's won everything in Singapore. Rocket Man obviously springs to mind, and you came after Rocket Man, but still.
Pat doesn't get the recognition I think he deserves back home. He's back in South Africa, master trainer. He's won every big race there. They love him in Singapore. They really miss him. Obviously with Ricardo taking over, it can't be easy for Pat. And speaking to him, we saw him here in Dubai, obviously, horses every day, and then one day he's on a plane back to South Africa and he's finished. It can't be easy.
No, but the point is that those are the guys that you need to call up their help. And as you say, they're a great South African culture, the shores. And from the filming track work, what are you filming at track work?
So, the name of the game in Singapore is transparency.
Yeah.
So that's why all the horses are numbered. And the reason for filming the track work is we actually put a track work show program together for the public. So all the runners on Friday nights and all the runners on Sunday, we would, in the space of a week, have got their track work. And we show it to the public. And then I would give my thoughts. I'd seen it moving better a month ago, or it's moving great now. But just transparency, that is the key there.
So you need to know every single horse, how it goes, means you got to spend a lot of time at the track.
Yeah, I was contractually bound to be at the Turf Club 5 days a week, but I would actually go in on one of my off days and go to track work as well, because I wanted to just be on top of, on top of things. A lot of people don't know this, but they've got a tracking system in Singapore where when we were sitting upstairs in the commentary box, because we'd sit on level 5 and watch the track work and control the cameraman, we would control it, another Chinese colleague of mine and myself, and we would punch that number I told you about into the computer.
Horse's saddle code.
Yeah, and it would automatically pick up his name, record that piece, take that clip, send it downstairs to the broadcast studio, and it would just be there for the editor to put together. It's like first of all.
Unbelievable. So you did that for a couple of years, and then things changed quickly.
I did it in South Africa. Brett Crawford gave me a chance in Cape Town. I did social media, content management, and one thing the owners I found in Singapore is they weren't really getting, there's so much info there, but they weren't getting it. Times have changed. In the 80s, the 90s, your trainer paid his bills and he just kept quiet. That's how it was. In today's day and age, it's with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I spotted a gap to keep owners updated, to fill them in, they're paying a lot of money. They deserve to know what's happening.
Yeah, you get this opportunity to do social media, and you mentioned the 3 stables you do. What do you actually do for them, and how do they pay you to do something like that?
So I had an idea that because there's the track work, because I'm at the track 6 days a week and at races, let's market these stables on the various social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, at the same time keeping owners up to date with their horses. Let's get them involved. Voice notes, videos, pictures. So I've got a very nice camera. I take beautiful posed pictures, if I don't mind saying so. It's taken me 8 years to figure out sort of half decent posed pictures. But we've also got trials in Singapore, and that is a magnificent tool because I'd say 90% of horses in Singapore will have a trial before they run, and it's roughly 2 weeks out. Yeah. So it's the perfect filler. You get the trial, I interview the jockey, get comments from him, all on my phone, send it to the owner. 2 weeks later, I'm sending them a pre-race report, I'm sending them pose pictures or a little video and trainer comments. And I promise you, it sounds tedious. Simplest thing in the world, and it works.
Surely there's got to be a gap for this type of thing in South Africa?
Well, it's funny you say that actually, because my younger brother, who's an attorney, has just returned from London, and it happened that we met at South Africa about 6 weeks ago, and I showed him my model, I showed him how I do it, why I do it, and I explained the principles behind it, and he's opened up my sort of model in South Africa now. But I'd love to help and encourage people, trainers, owners, because it's fair, I feel.
You love this business, don't you?
Oh, I love it, yeah. my partner Petra asked me the other day, she said, if you could come back 100 times, what jobs would you want to do in that? And I said, every time I came back, out of 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 times, I would work in horse racing.
We've been in Dubai now for a week, and it's an amazing place. What are your impressions as a South African who now works in Singapore of Dubai?
Initially, when we started coming here a couple of years ago, you know, we all got blown away. See, Dubai is professional, and it is, you know, it's run like clockwork. It is professional, but once you work in the Singapore's, and I'm lucky I get to go racing to Hong Kong. It's a 2-hour flight. This is how it should be.
Why do you go racing in Hong Kong? How's that fit into your job portfolio?
I go to Hong Kong now because I'm starting to get clients there. So I'm also doing bloodstock work. So I was invited there by a trainer. I raced with him and his clients, and I also do some social media for Patrick Cummings, and I was there for the internationals in December, the tweeting, social media and stuff like that. Trying to break into Hong Kong actually.
Pat Cummings is a good friend of South African racing. I know that he gets on very well with Mike de Kock. Tell us a bit about him.
Pat is a genius when it comes to the marketing and the selling of horse racing. He's a facts man. Stats, facts, at the blink of an eye he's got it. And he talks sense, he doesn't waffle, and he can hold a conversation with you all day, all night about racing. He's passionate about racing, and he does a good job. He does a fantastic job, and he's doing it in Hong Kong. He's doing the job. We for example, you know, when we were there in December, he brought what he termed probably the better social media players from around the world. We had 2 ladies from America, had myself from Singapore, Justin from Mark from South Africa, a couple of Aussies were there, and we were just trying to create social awareness about the Hong Kong International Meeting, the Jockeys Challenge on the Wednesday, and the International Meet on the Sunday. And after, I think 6 weeks afterwards, I emailed Pat and I said, you know, were the numbers better than last year? And the numbers were up 204%.
That's amazing. You mentioned someone that's very interesting to me, our man Justin from Mark. Now, here's a young South African who really seems on the go. How are you involved with him? And I know that you guys have got a horse that you put together through New Zealand. Tell us a bit about that story.
I've been very lucky now that I've switched my role, that I've been going to the New Zealand sales, and Mike Kneebone, who's one of the auctioneers at New Zealand Bloodstock, just by chance someone let him down in Singapore for a leased horse, phoned me and said, you know, I need help, I don't know anyone in Singapore. I got straight on the phone to Justin and I said, Just, you're looking to create a presence in Singapore with Green Street, let's take this horse. And he's bred to go 2,000 meters by Roep van Winkel. We thought he'd need his first run. He needs, you know, a mile plus. He comes out over 1,200 meters and he wins by 2.5 lengths. It's like the fairy tale story. Justin's got 2 horses in Singapore that, just getting back to the winner, for winning that maiden, that horse earns the equivalent of 350,000 rand.
Amazing. You know, it's a funny thing, we love talking about money and how money fits in, but I think most people that are involved in racing don't really worry about the money. And I know that you guys try to make a profit and get things going as far as money is concerned, but it's wonderful to have that exposure. The other guy that you're obviously involved with is Marsh Shirtliff with his son Guy. And how are you involved with them there? Because they've got quite a big exposure there now already.
Well, you know, that you go to the Aussie sales at Magic Millions, and they've been pretty active there recently. And they race a couple of horses in Singapore. And I just went to Guy and Marsh and I said, are you guys being informed? They said yes. I said, well, give me a month. Let me show you how it could be. And we go from there, and they've been with me since I started in November, and I send them everything possibly that I can, pictures, updates, videos. It helps that I've obviously known Marsh. Guy is an amazing person. We've become very close in Singapore as well. I don't do it for the money. Listen, Singapore is expensive.
Yeah, you gotta live.
You gotta live. I'm lucky my partner's, she's got a pretty good job, but I do it for the passion, I do it for the love, I do it for that feeling, you know, that winning feeling. It's just I love it. Yeah.
Gareth, you know, fantastic that there's some young guys who've been involved in South African racing that are out there making their name on the world stage, and you're one of them. And where do you see yourself going from here in the next 5 years?
It's a tough question. I'll tell you why, because
where would you like to go?
Ideally, I wish I could be back in South Africa, but it's not viable. I think I can be a wonderful ambassador for South African racing. I don't think I'm the finished product yet, not by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very proud of South African trainers, jockeys and horses. My dream job, I don't know, maybe I'm hoping, who knows, like a Dolphin or a Coolmore or a China Horse Club see what I'm doing and they say, you know, we want you to come work for us.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.